Welcome to the Evidence Informed Teaching Podcast. Are you a teacher wanting to improve your classroom practice and deliver excellent teaching through access to research? Do you have a passion for teaching and are looking to connect with other like-minded colleagues through professional discussions? The Chartered College has partnered with TeacherTap to support teachers to deliver excellent teaching through access to research, and we invite you to be part of this community. On this podcast, you will hear from fellow teachers, research experts, and you have the opportunity to be part of this professional discussion. You can find out more about the Chartered College of Teaching and TeacherTap in the show notes. And if you find this episode helpful, why not share it with a teacher friend, take a screenshot and post it on your social media, or even better, leave us a 5-star written review.
Rethinking Curriculum is a long-term curriculum development project for primary practitioners funded by the Helen Hamlin Trust and in collaboration with the Helen Hamlin Centre for Pedagogy. The project aims to support and equip teachers and school leaders with the knowledge and skills to identify, plan and implement curriculum development work in a sustainable, context-specific and impactful approach. This will hopefully mean that all pupils will have access to an expansive, inspiring curriculum that connects them to their local communities and enables them to lead healthy and fulfilled lives. Today's podcast is with a wonderful head teacher called James Seargant. James is an educator with over a decade of experience as a head teacher in Royal Greenwich, London. He oversees a large primary and nursery school with more than 15 years in leadership roles and within educational institutes. James brings a wealth of expertise in pioneering progressive approaches to learning. As a trustee of a democratic school in Croydon, his passion for challenging traditional education approaches is evident, and he advocates for innovative curriculum design, striving to revolutionise outdated educational methodologies in pursuit of the more dynamic and inclusive learning experience. James is joining us this evening to share a little about what he does at Wyborne Primary, why he does that and why it's so important, and also some top tips to other head teachers and leaders who are thinking about exploring this area. Thank you, James, for agreeing to share with us everything about your curriculum. So first of all, can you please tell our listeners all about your curriculum offer at Wyborne?
I would say our curriculum offer at Wyborne, if you were to compare it to other school curriculums, I imagine it's very, very similar. So when people ask me what our curriculum's like, I would say that it's, for us, the main title, I suppose, would be we are very much focused on project-based learning. That's something that at Wyborne we're really passionate about. And I would say the project-based learning aspects drives our curriculum. And we've been very experimental with that over the years that I've been head teacher. And that's something that I feel very passionate about. And before doing this podcast, I was thinking about my own experiences as a child and my own experiences as a learner. And one of the things that I do remember, especially from primary school, are the projects and are the topics. And one topic really stands out. It was the human body. And I remember working collaboratively with a number of other friends within the class. And we had loads of foam and loads of tubes and loads of materials. And we were making a body, basically. And each group within the class had to make a different part of the body. And I remember very clearly that we were making the intestines and just being really enthused by that, enthused by the notion that we could be creative, that we were free to go in certain directions, that we were working collaboratively. So I think forever I've been an advocate of project-based learning. And as a teacher, it was always the projects and the topics that really enthused me as the class teacher and that really got me passionate. But saying all of that, I think as well, it's really important to note in terms of our curriculum at Wyborne that we don't forget about English and maths, and we don't forget about personal development, and all of those things are equally as important to us. But there is a real push for project-based learning, and that's what I would say makes our curriculum particularly exciting.
That you're being very modest, James, there by
Oh,
saying
right.
that your curriculum is the same as every other school.
All right.
You know that when I was very lucky to come and visit James's school, and he has a secret, which I'm sure he would love to share with everybody in terms of how it enhances your curriculum. But it would be better from you than from me, because it's your secret to hold.
Okay. Yeah. So I suppose, as well as project-based learning, one thing that may differentiate us from other schools is our commitment to immersive learning. And there's some history around why that's something that we're really passionate about at Wyborne. And many of your listeners might know the theatre company Punch Drunk, and we were very fortunate as a school to do some excellent work with Punch Drunk, and it's now Punch Drunk Enrichment, which is a company that supports schools and that offer real quality CPD and are passionate about instilling and incorporating immersive learning within the curriculums that exist. So for us, immersive learning is a huge part of our curriculum, and it really links itself to our projects. And one of the things that enables us to do that is a space within our school that is called the Museum of Everything. And it's a room within our school. It's a magic room. It's a secret room. The children know it's there. And it's somewhere where we can go and learn that's not just our classroom. But when we go to learn there, we're immersed in the space. Things move. You can smell different things. You can hear different things. You see different things. Things change, and that space really keeps our projects alive. Is I suppose a testament to our work with Punch Drunk and their legacy, really, in terms of the work that they've done with us.
You're downplaying it, but I think it's a very special place, isn't it? It's a very special place, but as you say, it isn't an addition. You can feel how it's threaded through your project-based learning, and like all around your school, that was really, really obvious. And when all the displays were linked and everything was a real celebration of that project work. And when I came to visit you, we spoke, didn't we, about how you supported your staff initially and what a big jump and change that would be. Could you possibly share with us how you supported your staff to develop that confidence? Because it does take a special leader to be able to do that. So well done to you, but talk us through that process of how your staff have come to be so confident in that.
Yeah, I think it was a conscious leadership decision when I started at the school 9 years ago. Like I said, as a teacher, it was the projects and the topics that really enthused me, and were the things about the school that I was particularly passionate about. And as a deputy head teacher, I was given the responsibility for curriculum at the school. So I was able to, and I had a lot of freedom and autonomy from the head teacher to explore different approaches and to implement them. So as head teacher, I came to the school with an understanding that and with some evidence really that project-based learning does have a real impact on the teaching and learning within a school. And I suppose one of the things I would say is that it's not a quick fix. It's something that's taken us a long time to learn and to embed. And I would say now, especially after the last couple of years, with exception of COVID, obviously, it's really implemented within everything that we do and how we plan. In terms of developing staff confidence, I think for me, the biggest thing is to allow teachers to take risks. Teachers are really, really creative people, and quite often you don't know as the leader, as the head teacher, how creative individual teachers are. And that's something that I've learned as a leader as well, and something I'm really passionate about is the value of individual teachers and and their expertise and their passion. And I found that giving them a lot of autonomy, not 100% autonomy, but giving them a lot of autonomy, trusting them, giving them opportunities to take risks and to go on different planning directions, working collaboratively and working in a space where ideas are welcomed and explored and teachers are allowed to experiment. I think that was a real plus in terms of the level of confidence that I would say teachers have at the school now. And interestingly, the teachers that have been a long time here, the teachers that have been here a long time have got better at planning projects and thinking carefully about cross-curricular links and thinking carefully about progress and attainment in those key skills within those individual primary subjects. And a lot of questions we get asked is, how do ECTs manage when they join the school? And we have noticed that. We have noticed that the way we plan and the way we deliver our curriculum at our school isn't really taught at university or isn't really taught postgraduate courses for teacher training. So we have a very good mentor system at the school, and newly qualified early career teachers are supported and are exposed to the project-based planning at the very early stages of their careers when they start with us.
I think that's really interesting, because what you've experienced, you're replicating in terms of that respect and the agency and the autonomy, and as you say, you've handed that down, and I think you could feel that in the school. You could feel that people were really engaged, and I think you've picked up on that ECT. We're hearing a lot as well of ECTs are not confident to plan, so it's really interesting that you've picked that out in terms of, you have to address it. So that mentoring system, I think, is really key.
Yeah, and I think because like I said, because it's not a quick thing, it takes a long time to embed and to get right. And I don't even know for certain if we've got it 100% right now, and we're still excited about the future and the coming years. But I think the teachers have become even more confident year on year. And the other thing that I really think has improved their confidence is the evidence of it working. And that's really hard, because it might not necessarily be evidence in terms of data outcomes, because those data outcomes are so changeable year on year, and with the certain cohort that you have and with all of those external factors. But for us, I would measure the success of our project-based learning on the pupils' engagement and the parental engagement, the parental care engagement, and really a love of learning. And when people do come to our school, that is something that is commented on a lot when people feed back to us of their experiences at the school. It's that love of learning. The children feel empowered. The children are a lot of the times in charge of what they're learning. Things aren't stale. Things aren't the same every year. We're constantly looking at new ways of teaching those key skills in an exciting way. So definitely now, 9 years on, we have a school, I believe, of really enthused learners. And I think that's all the evidence that the teachers need in terms of keeping going with these projects and topics.
And you touched upon it there. I was going to ask you about that next. Of, a big part of the thing that really shone about your school was your community and how it was really involved. Would you like to just share a little more of that? Because that was really special. You're in a inner city, very multicultural setting, aren't you? That some people would use as a barrier potentially, and actually you've completely thrown that out. And how is that really supporting your curriculum design?
One of the starting points whenever we think about projects is relevance, and how relevant this topic is to our community and to our children. So at the early stages, that's considered before we decide on our projects. and our topics. Parental engagement is really important for us. Parents and carers are a massive part of that project, and they're involved from the very beginning. And I've noticed over the last few years that they look forward to the project and the project reveal, and they get excited and enthused themselves about how they're going to be involved with that topic. Yeah, so we think about relevance and we think about accessibility as well, and how accessible it is to all of our pupils, regardless of, as long as it's accessible to all of our pupils, regardless of protected characteristics. And I suppose, again, in terms of people listening to this, and especially leaders really, that might be reluctant in terms of the risk and the level of autonomy given to individual teachers, I think we had our Ofsted inspection in December 22, and what anybody thinks about Ofsted, regardless of that, and I know there's lots of things in the news at the moment. For us, our report was fantastic, and one of the things that always stick out to me is that we are a harmonious community school, and I do, yeah, and that kind of that word harmonious really validated for me as a leader that what we do is having a positive effect on everybody and the learning, because it does come back to this idea of accountability and outcomes and how they're measured. For us at Wyborne, our community, obviously we measure our outcomes in terms of attainment and progress, but for me, like I said, pupil engagement, pupils' love of learning is equal measure.
No, definitely. And I think it's so hard not to fall into the trap of providing a curriculum that could just give us the results, and actually your curriculum gives you the results and gives that wider offering. And you can feel the community are involved, and you can see how that works. You briefly mentioned earlier how the team are excited about moving forward. Where do you see your curriculum going? What are your next steps in terms of how do you build on this great foundation you've got?
Yeah, that it's been difficult for us as a school to think about that really. At the moment, we're developing our 3-year strategic vision plan. We're just coming to the end of our previous 3-year plan, and obviously curriculum is a huge part of that plan. And we know that we want to develop our curriculum further, and we have had conversations about that. And one of the things that we're actively doing at the moment is getting out further and seeing what else is happening. And I'm a real believer in sharing and collaborating with other settings and looking at what other settings are doing, because there's some real exciting things happening, not only around project-based learning, because schools do project-based learning in very different ways, but we're really interested in different approaches. We're visiting a democratic school. We are talking about assessment and visiting other settings that have got that are rethinking assessment and what is assessed at school, what is assessed within the curriculum, and how that's assessed and how that's measured. And for us, that's a natural next step in terms of, especially around the question mark of accountability. So yeah, for us, we want to continue to be a school that shares and welcomes other schools to showcase, I suppose, what we do and to share what we do. We want to continue to do that, and that happens all the time. There's many visitors to our museum throughout the weeks from different schools, from the Historical Association, from Punch Drunk itself, from authors. Yeah, loads of people want to visit the museum and see what we're doing. So we really want to to keep we really want to keep open, and we really want to keep continuing to share, but we also want to travel out further and see what's happening in different settings, see what different approaches are being successful. So that's our next step over the next year or so, is getting out and about and seeing what's happening nationally, not just locally, and then even maybe globally.
I think we do need to open our eyes to what's happening across the globe, because there is some really exciting work happening that we can definitely learn from as a system. So yeah, I think that's really interesting, and I love the way that it is a natural step to start thinking about assessment and start thinking about that. So obviously rethinking assessment we sit with and we work with, so it's really good that you're getting out and thinking about how you can change that lens of assessing what are we actually in education for, what are we actually delivering this curriculum for. Just obviously for our listeners, if you were back with yourself 9 years ago thinking about this journey, and for all our kind of very young leaders who will be stepping into this position, what would you say your top tips are? What do you think helped you get through this? And you have got a very successful curriculum now. You say you're not finished, because I don't think it's ever finished, but where would you say to start, and what would your tips be?
I think it's got to be take risks. That would be my biggest tip. My biggest tip. So my biggest tip is to take risks, and that's everybody within the school workforce, leaders, teachers, support staff, everybody within the school should be encouraged to take risks and to not be afraid. So that would be my top tip. As a school leader, I think it needs to come from leadership, because in my experience, people are reluctant to do things differently, to take risks if there isn't that autonomy, or if there isn't that trust. Fortunately, as a teacher, I had some very, very amazing head teachers and leaders. So my career, I feel very fortunate that I was able to experiment and to explore and to learn from others, and to be listened to, and that I was trusted. And I think those experiences, and thank you to those head teachers that I worked for, those experiences have really highlighted to me the importance of trust and the value of the teacher, because the teacher is the person that is in that classroom, that has the responsibility to not only make the learning relevant and accessible, but to make it enjoyable, exciting, and all of those lovely things that we enjoy as teachers, that we really try to instill.